Welcome to BigCountryPreps.com. I'm Evan Wren, and this is our Countdown to Two-A-Days series, our daily look at an area football team and the key questions we're going to be answering about that team in our Wednesday, August 17th football preview here at BigCountryPreps.com. I'm with my partner, Dan Youngblood, via Zoom. And today, Dan, we've got one of the biggies already. We're starting right off with one of the perennial powers in the big country at the Class 2A level, the Albany Lions.
Yeah, I mean, we kick off our countdown series with, maybe one of the big country's favorites to get to a state championship game, perhaps win one. There are a lot of people that are already talking about Albany as being the top ranked team in Class 2A Division II, which obviously, that comes with a lot of question marks anytime. We're just very early in the process. But this Albany team on paper does look like it's going to be very good, coming off a 13-1 season where it was really outstanding. Obviously, they bring back their quarterback, Cole Chapman, a number of really good receivers. The one area they're going to be a little bit young on is the lines. They're not quite as experienced there, but on paper, this looks like another really good Albany team, which is what we come to expect out of Denny Faith.
If we're going to ask specific questions about Albany, I think on paper they look good as always. I think they have some capable receivers, but they're going to have to replace Jaheim Newton. I would say that's going to be one key area from Albany. If they get production from that position, the tailback position, I think they're going to be in good shape. I think they look fairly good up front. They do have a little bit of size, a little bit of experience coming back, and we know that their offensive and defensive lines are going to be well coached in Albany. I don't see any problem there.
Yeah, the thing that's going to be interesting is we talked about, I mentioned earlier, a vintage Denny Faith team, and that's more in regards to the results than maybe the way they operate, because you are looking at a team with one of the area's best small school quarterbacks in Chapman, and they've got three outstanding receivers back. When you look at Coy Lefevre, Adam Hill, London Fuentes, guys who did some really big things for them last year. So they may take to the air even more this year. Based on what you just said, that's going to be a big question to see if maybe, obviously Denny Faith has proven he will play to his team's strengths, and their passing game may be a major strength this year. So it's going to be interesting to see if it does turn out that way.
If I had another question about Albany, one of the key questions we're going to be asking about Albany, it's not necessarily about them. It's about the region that they're in. I see them as a district favorite, clearly, although, Roscoe is going to be problematic in that district they're in, but they're going to be in the same region with a Munster, a Windthorst, and a burgeoning Santo program, they're getting better. And then there's McCamey that's out there that's always dangerous. This is a tough region that Albany finds itself sitting in. So, if you're going to get to state, it's a tough road to hoe.
Yeah, no question. And I saw that Windthorst team last year, and that was obviously an excellent football team. And like you said, that's not the only mine in that field. So, but that's nothing new for Albany, nothing new for Coach Denny Faith. They've been used to playing deep into the playoffs on a regular basis, and have had to beat some really good teams to make those types of runs. But it will be interesting, because I know that this is obviously a program under Denny Faith in search of its first state championship. They feel like this team may have, that type of potential. It's just going to be a matter of whether they can shore up some of those questions. I think the O-line will be one, just in the fact that they've lost some pretty good players at that position. And then, defensively, they've got to replace 5 starters as well. So it's going to be interesting, but this is one of those programs you never really worry about having to rebuild. It's always a reload situation. It's always kids who come into those situations expecting to produce, expecting to win. And I think that we'll see some of that this year as well.
All right, let's take a quick look at the Albany football schedule for 2022. They open with Lubbock Trinity at home, followed by a couple of challenging road dates. A Dublin team that's on the upswing with some good skill personnel down there. The Lions are going to be tough on the road. That'll be difficult. And then Seymour on the road is always a tough matchup before they come home to face Holly, which should be a fun ball game at home. And then a home date with Comanche before they get into district.
Yeah, it's interesting. They've kind of built a little bit of a non-district rivalry there with Holly, just given the fact that how good Holly's been of late. So that's going to be a really fun game that you kind of circle on the calendar in that non-district portion. But that's one of several difficult non-district games to get them ready for district, which sees them open at Miles, then come home to play Cross Plains, go to Roscoe, go to Hamlin, and then finish up with a home game against Abilene TLCA. You look at that district schedule. You mentioned Roscoe. Roscoe should be very good again this year. I think that's going to be the one big challenge in that district. But I think that they'll be well prepared by that non-district schedule that they're playing.
And you know what? I think we have to mention Cross Plains. Now they'll have Cross Plains at home, but that Cross Plains team last year was very young. He had a freshman quarterback. Purvis Son was playing as a freshman at quarterback. So that's going to be an improved Cross Plains team as well. But clearly Albany the favorite in that league.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah, but I mentioned that Holly game, the non-district one, is one that will be circled. I think that you touched on too. That Roscoe game at Roscoe, right in the middle of their district schedule, is going to be one that I think we'll be keeping an eye on as well.
And are the Plowboy fans? Is that going to be a madhouse? In that ball game? That is going to be a madhouse because that Roscoe community really gets behind that team. That's going to be a fun one. That road date on October 21st. And normally when we do our countdown to two-a-day series, we do pick the game of the year for each team that we highlight. Today's Albany's turn. If I were going to pick one, if I look at the schedule, non-district anyway, I think the Holly game is really fun, and that's going to be at Albany. That'll be another madhouse there. That'd be a great ball game. But that key ball game of the season is going to be that road date at Roscoe on October 21st.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun one. Roscoe obviously had a great season last year, reaching double-digit wins after kind of a really rough stretch. They bring a lot of really good players back, and the expectations are changing over there with what Coach Freeman's done. So that's one we're definitely circling on the calendar.
All right, and that's just about going to wrap it up for today's installment of the Countdown to Two-A-Days series. But we want to remind you that we've got 3 separate subscription packages here at BigCountryPreps.com. We got a monthly for $5 a month. We've got a semi-annual for $4 a month. That's a 6-month subscription. And we've got an annual subscription, a 12-month subscription where you knock that price down to $3 a month. That's $36 for a full year of Big Country high school athletic coverage.
We'd also like to remind you one more time as we are doing these countdowns to be on the lookout for our Big Country Preps preseason preview, which will hit the website on Wednesday, August 17th. In the meantime, thank you for joining us for this episode of our Countdown to Two-A-Days series. And make sure you join us again tomorrow when we will be talking about the Hamlin Pied Pipers here at BigCountryPreps.com.